Being an entrepreneur is a vital position in any style of business. But when you talk real estate, you really up your game. What does it take to become an entrepreneur in real estate? Let's go.
Let's go! Hey folks, welcome back to another ICW International Championship workshop where me and Jason are gonna kick some butt into gear and help you guys move forward, grow, maybe have a bit of a laugh, get your brain working, get you thinking about where you are and where you want to go next. And yeah, this episode in particular, we're going to talk a lot about entrepreneurship and what it takes to be one because it's not easy and it's made out to look like a lot of fun, and it certainly isn't. So, hey Jason, how's it going?
What's up, brother? How's everything?
Going good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Hey, I love the topic today, and I think it's going to really drive home with a lot of people. So let's just
Yes.
jump in, man.
Yeah, so it was something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. I am on the last day of a 30-day challenge that I proposed to myself to kind of just be more productive, be more focused. It's a discipline, it's a self-discipline kind of challenge. And I've been way more productive, had a lot more clarity. Uh Performance in like sports has been a lot better. I've been reading a bunch and I'm highly motivated and I'm managing better my emotions and all of these things. I'm less stressed, more relaxed, and it's been really, really great these past 30 days. It's actually done something, tried it, and it's worked really well. So I'm excited to share that with everyone at some point. But it got me thinking today, especially where I was just there thinking to myself, what is it that makes someone be so good at entrepreneurship and someone that's compared to someone that's maybe mediocre, compared to someone that is maybe not fit for it at all, because we all know someone that has tried to do their own thing and failed, not meaning that that's a bad thing because it isn't for everyone. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about it and discuss it because I feel like social media, and I don't know, this is depends what you kind of what you're doing on social media, but I feel like they put it out there in a way that it's super fun and I don't want to say easy, but they don't show how hard it is sometimes. Because, you know, that first step is going from, well, in my example, and I think this is the same for a lot of people, going from having a stable job where I get paid every single month um, to taking the leap to becoming an entrepreneur or doing your own thing, where if you do not sell, your kids don't eat. That's a huge, that's a huge jump. That's a big difference. And some people do better, some people don't. You know, when they first start out, I was terrible at it. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no plan B. Um, but that was what, like 5, 6 years ago, and I'm still going, so something's working. And you know, it's this is a topic that I think is really important for everyone because no matter where you are, whether you're just starting or whether you've been doing your own thing for 10, 15 years and now you're ready to take it to the next level, well, what are the differences? You know, what does it look like for someone that's already on number three on the 0 to 10 scale, and what does it look like from someone that's on zero? So, yeah, I mean, what was it for you?
Well, let me tell you this. I mean, obviously we're talking to a specific style of person here. Like you said, not everybody is an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
People get into real estate to sell homes. They like it.
yeah,
They see it on TV. They do think it's fun and flashy and easy. It can
especially real
be.
estate.
And some people just like to sell and go out and meet people and help people, and that's really cool. But this purpose of this video is targeted to leaders, to entrepreneurs who have a different mindset that not only am I going to help more families, but I'm also going to run a business. And so, first step, you have to diagnose, who are you? What do you want? What's inside? What's your passion? Do you love helping people? Cool. And do you want to crunch those numbers and truly be an entrepreneur? Because you want to be able to make sure your production level increases. Maybe it's your average sales price is going to increase. Forecast
Mhm.
what your sales are going to be for the next 12 months, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years. Or what is that trajectory of what your business looks like in 3, 5, 10 years? That is a
Mhm.
very forward thinking, very progressive style of mindset. So again, our pool, when we talk about it, and I know me and you, we talk about that 80-20 rule, we only may be talking to 20% people right now. So if that doesn't
Right.
excite you about entrepreneurship, then don't watch this one. Turn it off and watch another one of our videos.
Mhm.
But this one's really going to level up. And so we really want those right people having the right mindset. So I think it all begins mindset and knowing yourself, my man.
And you touched on something super important there, and it was it's about running your own business. And I think that a lot of people don't see it that way because I guarantee there's a whole bunch of agents out there that I could ask simple questions to, whereas where if they were the CEO of some big company, they would know these answers. But because they're just an agent in a company or whatever, they're not that deep into it. And this goes for solo agents and team leaders and everyone in between. But for example, you know, I don't know. How many calls do you need to make to set a listing appointment? How many calls do you need to make to get an appointment with an agent? Or, what are your numbers? How many you know how many sales you did last year? Most likely, I hope you know how many sales you did last year. If not, that's probably a good sign that you're selling a bunch and you lost count. Um, but what
Well, it could
is
be
it
it
that
could
you
be two
know?
signs. It could be two signs. Either you're selling a bunch and you forgot, or you're just not aware and you're not paying attention to what you're doing.
Right, right, and that's exactly it. So if you were to come to the director of a large company and ask him these kind of questions, what do the numbers look like? He'd probably be able to tell you, like, well, this is what happened, this is how it worked, blah blah blah, number of calls, whatever, appointments. And I just don't feel that a lot of agents are at that level. And I think I think it's extremely important because I think the first step is probably going to come down to realization or consciousness of knowing exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, it's
But
awareness, man. You've got to be
that's
aware.
it.
What's
Yeah,
are you aware when you're a parent? Are you aware when you're married and have a spouse? You need to be aware of how things are affecting and what's going on. Do you run your house very laissez-faire and say, "Oh, well, I got paid today. We could just go back, whatever." It's
right,
not going to work that way. You got to work on a budget. You're knowing your numbers of your house, so you could run it and live and not be broke, right? And maybe, hey,
right,
maybe we could save for that vacation and get there. That's where it begins. And then it just expands. So that's again, yeah, diagnose yourself and be aware, and then be able to implement that and grow. I think you mentioned earlier too, Ian. When you have people around you that are entrepreneurs, it's easier to focus on that
oh,
and
oh,
say, "Gosh, that's how I should be thinking in this business." In real estate, when you sell a house and you close, well, after that closing, everyone's excited, they're happy. Good for the person, whether it's a buyer, seller, whoever, they did their transaction. But for you, you are now out of a job.
yeah, that's it.
So you have to go and hustle and make it happen. So that is that mindset to say, do you get back on that horse and hustle more? Are you complacent that, hey, I've got one closing this month? Are you cool with that? Or do you go out and hustle for more? Those that are hustling for more are going to be those true entrepreneurs. They are going to be tomorrow's leaders. So that's, again, where is your mindset? Do you need help getting there? Let's have that conversation. Because it takes accountability, it takes responsibility. It's stuff like me and you, Ian. We sit and we talk. Hey, I'm working on a seller right now. Great. I just had a closing. Great. What are you working on next? How many calls are you doing? We're having these conversations to help elevate each other and be
Mhm.
able to grow.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that anyone that's been doing this for a while, especially if you're a team leader, knows that going alone is only going to get you so far. And that might be what needs to happen for you to, you might be trying to figure out ways to take things to the next level, and it's just not happening for you, whether it's been a year that you've been at it, 2 years or 3 years or whatever. You seem to be working harder, you get more results, but it's not exactly what you're looking for. Take a step back and have a look at it from a bird's eye point of view.
Yep.
It might not be as complicated as you think, not meaning that it's going to be easier, but it might just be the people that you surround yourself with, like you just said. It might be your brokerage. It might be, I don't know, it could be, for example, we were on a call not too long ago with someone, and if this guy's objective is to get to X amount take home money every single month or every year, and he's only focused on sales, then yeah, figure out how to sell that much to get to your goal of X amount of dollars or euros to take home every month. But what if, for example, which is what me and Jason are getting into, what me and you're getting into at the moment is what if we build out an organization? What if we start a team and we start building out these different paths of revenue, which is going to take us where we wanted to go with that take home money, um, in a different way. And who knows, maybe a hell of a lot quicker than having to bust your ass off to work 15 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years.
Yep.
So
Well, and
it's not, yeah, go ahead.
you want to look at the numbers, man. And just like you're in your example, and I remember having that conversation. And we were talking, hey, and the gentleman was selling 10 million a year, and he said, hey, it'd be
Right.
cool if I got to 15 million a year. So, but he doesn't want to push further than the capacity that he's doing now. So, being an
Of course.
entrepreneur, how do you go down a different avenue saying, hey, I'm going this avenue and I'm very comfortable with doing $10 million a year or 10 million euros a year? Awesome.
Mm,
But you want to get to 15, but you don't really know how to get there because you don't want to add more transactions to your belt. So being an
right.
entrepreneur, that's where you need to think outside the box and then say, hey, how can I get the money that would be rewarded to me if I sold another 5 million in volume? If I sold that, what is my take home on that? Here in the United States, it's
Right.
3% roughly. So,
Right.
is that an extra $150,000? Great. What if you could go a different path and go and get that $150,000? Can you run a business and be that entrepreneur mindset? But
Mm,
and thinking of that, you struck something with me too, my man. Um, when you're talking about that team leader and being that solo agent or even being just by yourself as a team leader and you don't really have that collaboration, what systems are you getting? Are you able
that's
to pour in and are you able to leverage yourself through the systems, whether you're independent, whether you're with a brokerage, but not only for yourself, but for the rest of your team members? So that's
that's
a
it.
challenge I put out there. What do you think about systems?
Well, that's the step back thing and look at it from a different angle and a different
Yeah.
perspective because again, yeah, you can bust your ass off selling more homes to get from 10 to 15 million. Um, or you can try something else, do something else, whatever that may be for you. It could be, God, it could be like, I don't know, selling courses on how to do 10 million a year. I don't know, for example, there's a
Right.
whole bunch of things you could do because at the end of the day, what's important is what's coming into your bank account and how to feed that lifestyle that you and your family have or want or dream of or whatever. Like if you're doing 10 million, but there's no money in the bank, I would rather do 5 million and have money in the bank than do 10 million and take home nothing. So You
Well,
know,
right. Well, and
take
in
a
that
step back.
case, I mean, how are you budgeting your money at that point? You know,
Right.
are you just not good with money? So again, that's where, you know, I would love to help with support in that because I dive into that every
Yeah,
day on my own account and
exactly.
saying, "Hey,
Exactly.
how can we help that person?" And you
Yeah.
know, because if they're selling 10 million but they're not keeping a dime, is the business
Right.
sustainable in 5 years from now? Probably not.
Right, right. And it could be, like you said, it could be the systems. It could be the business they have set up isn't working as it's supposed to be. It's not streamlined like it could be. And then, it could also be that you're just terrible with money and just blow it all and crap whenever you have money. I don't know, that's like a whole different thing. But
Yeah,
taking a step back and looking at what you're able to do with what you have and what potential there is outside of what you have. Try something new. And that could be I don't know, it could be trying out different marketing techniques. It could be changing brokerage. It could be going independent. It could be going from a solo agent to a team leader. It could be going from a team leader to partnering up with someone else and doing it. I don't know. There's a whole different bunch of ways that you could do this. But if you're stuck wherever you're at, I think that it's important to take a step back, analyze, and think about where you want to go, control the numbers, and find a way to make it happen, because I think that's what entrepreneurship is. It's
yeah.
it's
Well, and
failing
I
forward and making
oh,
it work.
go ahead.
No, that's what it is. It's failing forward and making it work. You may be failing forward up to a certain point, which is really good, by the way. You're able to sustain your family and your lifestyle and everything else. But if you want more, you need to figure out how to do it. And that's what we do.
Hmm.
We went from 0 to 1. Okay, cool. Now 1 to 2. What happens now? How do I do 2 to 3? I might jump to 4. And then I might go back. And I think that's what the entrepreneurship thing is. It's figuring out how to move forward and 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 get out of these ruts that we get ourselves into, whether they're really bad or really good, because they can be good ones. You might be plateauing
Well,
at 15 million.
yeah, and you
You know,
have to focus on the prize. I mean, we all get in ruts, but it's how you get out that's going to define you and your business. And that's again being an entrepreneur and something you mentioned as well. It's thinking outside the box. You
I
got
think
to
so.
think and then push yourself and be okay with that failing. Like you said, fail forward. That's huge. So those are key pieces. So, you know, if you're looking at yourself, is that a key piece for you? Great. If you're there, how do you grow? How do you grow from where you are today, and see yourself differently in 3 to 5 years? And your business is different. Your numbers are doubled. You're bringing in extra passive income. You know, those are very huge visions for an entrepreneur to help run a team. So yeah, I don't really know where I was going with all that, but that's, you know, my summary of an entrepreneur.
No, but and I'm just gonna put this out there as well. If that's where you are, and if you feel like you can do more, because I think that's where it starts as well. People know that they can do more. There's just something that's not happening and they don't know what it is. And you're not in EXP, seriously look into it, because it's personal experiences of ours. We I got into EXP, and not only was I actually able to sell more homes because of the technology and the tools that are given to us, um, in a big part of it is the people that are within EXP, the culture that we have here, and the people that help me and stand out. Not only that, but yeah, now I can do exactly that for a bunch of other people, and that's changed everything for me. Whether it's creating a passive income, which is like going to cover your car payment, or whether it's going to cover your car payment and your mortgage, or whether it's going to, God, like, I don't know, it's gonna help you do so much more because you get so much more. Um, that just, it seriously does change everything. And if you just look into it, discover it a little bit, and hear about our experiences, then it might just be exactly what you need to get from, you know, 3 to 4 or 5 to 10 or whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah, I totally
And me and
agree,
Jason
man.
are
You
super
got
experts at EXP, so let us know. Honestly, it's a shameless plug right there, but we know what we're doing, we know how it works, and we know how to help you. Um, Awesome thing is, if we don't know how to help you directly, we know the person that can. So
yeah.
please reach out.
Well, and I mean, if you're looking at also as an independent and you're that entrepreneur and you want to talk about a product like what we're offering as well. I mean, it's so entrepreneurial mindset of what our brokerage is, and and every time I talk to agents, it's like, hey, are you that entrepreneur? Because if you are, then definitely listen in. If you're not, then it may or may not make sense to you, and that's
You're not
okay.
ready.
But yeah, we're just really finding our groove with who is connecting and who is able to use the technology, the systems, the training, the collaboration. If you don't want any of that, that's okay. Don't come on. But it's there for those that want to succeed and be in the business for 1, 3, 5, 10, 20 years and have a true exit strategy by building more wealth by doing the same darn thing you're doing now. So I totally agree
Exactly.
with you, and I think people need to look at it a little bit more in depth because it's really morphed over the last 2, 3 years as well. I'm talking about EXP, the leadership, the vision,
Oh
the
God, yeah.
systems. So um, think about it. And I know we're about out of time already, Ian, man. So um,
Yeah,
any
yeah.
any parting words for our entrepreneur friends out there?
No, so just to finish up, yes, EXP is I can see it changing and I can see it moving forward. And it's got me really excited for what's coming in the future. So yeah, if you are looking to move that needle forward, and you may already be successful, which is awesome, and I applaud you for that because it's not easy, like we've just mentioned, which what we've been talking about. Um, but doing the same thing and being able to impact way more people might be what takes you from being successful and having a bunch of money to actually being successful, having money, and being extremely fulfilled and satisfied with how things are working. So, yeah, reach out to us. That makes a huge difference in everything. That's what's changed about me in my
Yeah,
business. It's the satisfaction of knowing that my efforts have helped so much more people than if I was at the brokerage I was at before.
yeah,
So yeah, thank you for joining. I hope that this maybe turned on a little light bulb in your head that made you think a little bit. Um, if it did, be happy to share the show. I never ask about this, but we need to get some more people out there, get more people watching. So yeah, thank you, Jason, for being here as always, and we'll see
thank
you in
you.
the next one.
Awesome.